Hello, peoples of the internet. Today, I will be designing a ute of sorts, which probably won't look like this unless I can do crazy things with the back, which I can't. Can make the doors tiny though. So, here is a body. Yep, I'm using a first generation Fiesta body for utility reasons. Also, it could perhaps look cool if it's done properly, but I'm not really doing it properly at the moment. I'm slightly messing with the bonnet a bit too much. Still, I'm sure we can get what we want. We have to move the cab back, hopefully, I would say as much as possible, then it just looks awkward. If we can bring that forward a little, it actually looks better proportioned. Trouble with that is there's less interior space. I think we'll leave it about there, and then we'll extend the bed out behind the rear wheels. Yes, it's a ute, but we still need great weight balance. There's no excuse for poor weight balance in this case. And that bed is extremely high. The only reason you need to do that is if you're using pushrod suspension, which we won't be doing. But still, it works well enough. So, here we have our design. It looks a bit older than it perhaps should because it's a 70s car with 70s parts. But I like it. We have some indicators down here. We have the headlights, which probably already have indicators built in. A fake grille down here, and the main grille here, which should be all the cooling we need. I'm tempted to add a scoop or something on the bonnet, but it really doesn't need it because it's probably going to be a fairly small engine, and small engines don't need massive amounts of cooling since they never make huge amounts of power. We have the lights on the way. I've managed to fit a Pac-Man reference in here, which I'm proud of and I should be. We have our standard tail lights and our brake lights and our indicators and reverse lights. Should be all you need there. And an exhaust. I've kept it simple because it's a utilitarian vehicle. Also, I can't be bothered to put chrome on it. Also, these are the various chassis components and stuffs I've used. I've used a unitary construction, and I know it's not going to be as stiff as a ladder, and it probably will need stiffening in the way, but I decided it would be an improvement overall since I am going for a simpler, lighter vehicle here. It's not supposed to be a really heavy-duty truck, and we have McPherson strut on the front and solid axle on the rear to try and keep things simple, as well as the material, which was aluminium actually. I want to keep this light so it needs less propulsion and it can move about more easily. And here we have our starter engine, 271 horsepower, all through the front wheels. I've also forgotten to adjust the RPM. I'm not sure this engine will even cope, to be honest. It kind of will. So there's our engine for now, until I make final adjustments. There's a lot of turbo lag, but it works. And here is our final engine. The radiator's overheating a little, but other than that, it's a sound enough unit. It makes 284 horsepower and 265 newton meters of torque. Around 4500 RPM, everything flattens out, and that's all nice and solid. So I'll let you hear it now. Oh, my beautiful work. So there we go, the turbo kicked in pretty hard, but for the most part it still functions. And we've got a massive exhaust. There the mufflers we've used and stuff. Pretty typical. I've used baffled because it's probably slightly less effective at reducing noise in reverse flow. I still wanted to have a kind of engine note. I don't want it to be completely isolated. And we'll have multi-point electronic fuel injection as well, because I don't want to go and spend loads of money on mechanical or direct injection. So I got the best balance I could. Suppose it's good for 1200 horsepower, but I don't imagine that from such a tiny engine. Now, we've got a fairly low amount of boost on the turbo actually. I say low, it's 20 psi, but Compared to what I've used in certain other vehicles, that's pretty low. We've got quite a high cam profile, a higher VVL profile, which I can't really adjust. I adjusted that before and then I've not needed to adjust it since. Compression, we have everything finely balanced. It works though. So we've got VVT as well. I've had to go for I-beam titanium because it has trouble otherwise. Honestly, I could have just lowered the RPM, but it's better for a performance index, and I just decided, hey, I can't be bothered doing myself any better, I'll put titanium on. There doesn't seem to be a power difference, though. Sometimes there is a power difference if you upgrade to titanium conrods, not in this case. Anyway, there's our engine, so we can move on. It's also single overhead cam, might I mention now. Now here I've done some tricky gear tuning to enable my 150 mph top speed, yet still have a 5.7 second 0 to 60 time and 7.1% wheel spin, which is fairly low compared to the figures I was seeing before. I was seeing 30% at one point. We do have 24.4 miles per gallon. I've seen that over 25, but I was adjusting for acceleration and grip in this case, so miles per gallon had to take a back seat. And yeah, I did adjust the gears this way should it give it better economy, but it didn't give it better economy as I'd hoped. It works either way, even if I'm only using a 5-speed as a 4-speed transmission. We have a manual locker for the differential because utility. And it's not that much more expensive than an open differential. I just decided, being a utilitarian vehicle, it might be worthwhile giving it a locking diff, since even though it's not got the full all-wheel drive, it might still be good for getting you out of some mud. We have the wing here I've also added. I'm not sure I like the look of it. I've also painted it bright yellow, might I mention. We've got fairly standard medium compound road tyres. I didn't want to go too crazy, but I didn't want to leave it on basic road tyres. 215 tyres all around. You can really see the width there. They're pretty wide for this size of vehicle, and it's not ideal. I've left them at 15 inches actually. Maybe I could change that. I'm looking at markets. It's terrible at markets. I'm maybe not done my market research, but that's not the point of this video. I'm thinking we could go with 16s, but I've just left the wheels the same as they were standard, because in this case it's one of the rare cases they actually look good. They actually suit the vehicle. We've got solid discs on the front. I've not adjusted this yet. I'll come back and do it before I take it around the track, but the basics are here. Solid discs of one piston and drums on the rear. I wanted it to be a fairly basic utilitarian vehicle, although I'm thinking, being a sport model, I will go for vented discs on the front, but keep the drums on the rear, because the rear is from the 1800s, or whatever you say. It's got leaf springs and drum brakes. It's not exactly advanced back there. The most advanced thing is probably the rear wing, but that's a story for another day. So, we can move on to here. Fully clad under tray to give us some positive downforce, which it does actually have, surprisingly enough. We have an intercooler sticking out the front, and we have loads of cooling. It can go up to like 400, but we don't need 400. We need a little more than when I'd say it now though, so I'm going to lose my 150 mph top speed unfortunately. But it's a decent enough compromise, since we do get the engine to actually function as it's supposed to. And the interior is basic, with basic infotainment, and the only assist you get is anti-lock brakes. Since it's a very light car, you probably won't need even power steering, so we've left it off. The suspension is very basic, but you get slightly fancier dampers because they're not costing that much money, and I've set it for comfort because it's a Subaru. No one's actually going to put stuff in the back. They want to know it's got leaf springs and stuff, but what are you going to put in the back? Inflatables? I know people will probably use it for hauling stuff, but we don't have a truck preset as such, so I can't use that. Anyway, it's on to the test track. So, the vehicle set a time of 1 minute 24.03, and I can't help but be skeptical of that, because a 1 minute 24 time puts it just below a Zonda, a Koenigsegg, and an Aston Martin DBS, And just above a Veritas RS3, a ProDrive P2 and an Audi R8. I know none of those are particularly ultra high-end supercars, but look at the back of this thing. It's leaf springs and drum brakes. It shouldn't be this quick. And come to think of it, the rear doesn't even do anything. Look, there's no drive shaft there. It's just a front-wheel drive truck. It shouldn't be so fast. It's confusing me. Well, it'll give us a way to compensate for a terrible economy, I guess. That's something. And the weight is reasonable, but I don't see why it should be setting times this quick. It happens with a lot of cars. They seem to be quicker than they should be, but maybe I'm just better at engineering than I think, I don't know. We've beaten a TVR Sagaris, a TVR Tuscan though, and a 400 horsepower Mitsubishi Evo in a front wheel drive car with less power than the Evo. It just shouldn't be. I don't know. Anyway, the markets. The price is actually slightly more than I would have expected, but we've got a very good engine, so we can kind of justify it, I guess. Can make a good 4% base and sell it for 11,000. I think for this kind of vehicle, which is a fun little truck, 11,500 or 12,000 we could probably get away with. So that would work. I just don't understand why it's not more competitive in something. It's very price competitive as a track premium in Frunia, but no one wants it seems. An Arcania? No, it's not really competitive there. Yes, so it's basically a premium track car in Frunia, but no one wants it. I don't know. Strange. But still, it's a bright yellow truck, so we can all enjoy that. And having said that, we need to name it. I can't call it the Flying Banana because that name has been taken by Failways. I'm thinking Earth because it's got downforce. Maybe a different term would perhaps work better. The Glued Banana because it sticks itself to the road. Yeah, that's the best name I can come up with. We have got positive downforce front and rear, by the way. Just in case you didn't see it before, I'll go on here. And it's 13.6 front and 18.8 kilograms rear, which is fairly solid downforce. Not the hugest amount in the world, but you know, you wouldn't expect it from something that looks like this. Also, it looks a lot older, but I'm getting away with that under Defender logic, I would say, because people bought the Land Rover Defender despite not exactly being a beautiful car, so, you know, if it's utilitarian, we can get away with that, I think. The trim model can be called Sport. I'm out of ideas for that, really, just call it Sport. The engine can be called VTEC. No, VTEC's too obvious. VVT LI. I think I was trying to put a dash in, but I don't think it needs it. Destroyer. I believe that was the Toyota rival to VTEC, only it's not got the crazy sound to it, so everyone just ignores it. It's like calling your engine animatronic or something. No, animatronic kind of works. It's like calling something a code name like Acer 5750 as my laptop was. It just doesn't stay in your mind. And we need to name the model, which can be called Trucky Muck Truck Face. Seems like a logical enough name. And then I'll leave it at that. Just show you the under tray. I've not done that yet. And I'll say goodbye until another day.